I like this shirt. Anyway, let's get this challenge on the go, shall we? Hello everybody and welcome back to Bug Realms. This is going to be the very first video featuring the exotic pet challenge. Now I want to apologise in advance. The rats have decided to wake up just in time for me to film this video, and they've got a very squeaky wheel right now, so if you hear some horrible noises, I really apologise. There's no other room that I can actually do my filming in right now. So anyway, we're going to crack straight on with this. So my exotic pet that I'm going to be challenged on is going to be phasmids. I have started with this purely because there aren't a huge amount of YouTubers that do a lot about phasmids. So here we go with question number 1. Favourite thing about phasmids? I've already shot myself in the foot with this one because I don't even know where to begin. I'm guessing it's the sheer diversity of them. The amount of species, over 3,000 species that we know of currently. And it could be anything from coloration, from your greens and browns to your black and reds, all the way up to like electric blues. There's such an extreme amount of different looking species, as well as behaviours. Some of them have sort of like a slightly aggressive, defensive nature, whereas others will just fall and play dead as their way of trying to escape predators. Even things like molting, for example, like the Ectatosoma tiarata male. I mean, you can see him as a sub-adult with little wing buds that are unable to be used, and then he'll drop upside down, he'll molt through his exoskeleton, and boom, suddenly he's got wings longer than his abdomen. Where did that come from? It's absolutely fantastic. So that's it. It's going to be my favourite thing is literally the diversity of species and the behaviours that they bring with them. So question number 2. How many phasmids do you own? Well, currently I am on about 6 different species, maybe 30, 35 phasmids in total. Going back a few years when I was in my prime with the phasmids, I did actually have 30 different species and I had hundreds of them. I gave an awful lot away to various people who wanted to get into the hobby, and it was taking an awful lot of my time. So it gets addictive, guys, but you've got to be prepared for it. I was spending 7-8 hours a week just collecting the bramble and various other food plants because they're not all going to work on bramble. So I had to really go deep and try and find all these different things, come home, clean them all out on a weekly basis, and it did take a lot of time, and I loved doing it. But at the same time, I wanted to also try into some more predatory things, which is then when I moved on to mantids. And luckily, I found lots and lots of people, especially within my hometown, that wanted to get into the phasmids. So a chunk of them I gave away for free, along with like care sheets of how they can care for them, and others that were a bit more expensive I did sell to certain people. And they keep in touch with me to this day. So if any of you have had phasmids off me, whether you bought them or had them as freebies, and you're watching this, just comment below, let me know how they're still doing to this day. I'd love to keep in touch with people that are looking after my babies. So, question number 3, show a phasmid. Back in a mo. So guys, this is my bug room. I can't do much filming in here because I can barely kind of fit in. I've only got enough movement to do a bit of cleaning out and things, so you won't see this properly much. It's not finished yet either. I will do a little room tour where you can see everything when it's done. Anyway, let's get to showing you a phasmid. So here we have, don't know how the lighting's going to go, the giant budwing stick insect. Now it is quite bright in here, it's daytime. She doesn't really move around a lot until it's the evening, but you can see her sheer size here. I'm going to provide you the scientific name in text form above because I will butcher it. But there we have it. This is an adult female. Isn't she beautiful? Let's get on to the next question, shall we? Question number 4. Name a YouTuber I would like to see own a phasmid. Now I'm going to pick one that you guys will already all know, and that's going to be Petco from the Dark Den, and I'd love to see him own Uricantha calcarata. The reason being is the guy is a pro with his filming and his editing, and the way he showed his jungle nymphs were really, really cool, and there's some really cool features about the Uricantha calcarata, especially on the males, that I would love Petco to be able to show the world there. And if you're watching, I doubt it, but if you are and you do ever want to get any, get in touch with me. And I would just love to see how you could film them for your channel. I think it would be wonderful. So that's question number 4. Now we'll move on to question number 5. Recommend a seller of phasmids. Okay, so there is a few that I can recommend here. There's Bugzuk, Martin French. He's got a fantastic invertebrate business online. I'll drop a link to Bugzuk below. Also, I would recommend a lady named Helen Stewart if you're within the UK. She goes to quite a few of the shows, like she was there at the Western Invert show that I went to last year. She keeps a ton of different inverts, mostly sort of mantids and stick insects is what I mostly see her sell. If you go to bugsbeforehugs.com, I believe it was, I'll drop a link to that as well if I remember. She puts her surplus on there and what she's selling, so you don't have to, I don't want everyone to keep suddenly bugging her because I've made this video. So if you keep an eye on bugsbeforehugs.com instead and look at her surplus, that's great. Other admins to her Facebook group are also going to be on there, so you can see what they've got for sale as well. And that leads us to question number 6. If I could own any phasmid species, what would it be? Well, I always had a love for the Aphalax. That's kind of got an electric blue coloration to it. Absolutely beautiful phasmid. I don't have any left to show you, I'm afraid, guys. But there is one that I would love to own more than that one, and that is the Atrioterra punctipes. I have probably just completely butchered that, so I do apologise. They're like the Aphalax, but their coloration is slightly different, and I don't think they're really in culture at the moment. There's a lot less known about them, but they are a beautiful species. I will have, hopefully, if I remember, provided the scientific name and the spelling up here somewhere. So Google them, check them out. Absolutely beautiful, and if I could own any in the world, that would be my choice at present. So that puts us to question number 7. Biggest mistake with phasmids? Well, first of all, was probably going to be taking on too many that I could handle at the time. I mean, I still managed to provide all the care for them, so it wasn't so much that they were missing out because of me as a keeper. It was more the fact that I was tiring myself out by taking on too many at one time. Probably the biggest mistake that I've regretted to this day is I purchased a eucalyptus plant and I believed that it wasn't used with pesticides, but it must have been, or something was on that plant, because when I provided that in, I wiped out an entire culture. But these were a species that I'd never raised fully to adulthood. I had one sub-adult and I had a bunch of others that were a bit younger, and within a matter of days, dead, all of them. Absolutely gutted. So always check if you're in phasmids, guys. Just double check, triple check, keep on checking that if you're going to buy a plant that you're going to keep growing and providing for them, that there are no pesticides used on that plant. Just message any sellers, speak to them, say that you need to know 100%, because this is what can happen if you don't. Question number 8. Are phasmids suitable for beginners? Yes, they are, but within reason. So if you want to go to your simple Indian stick insect, for example, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant for any age even. You know, they're hardy species, they're easy to look after, they do not require a male to breed. So what you'll have to keep in mind if keeping these species is if you don't want to be overrun with them, and you will get overrun with them, so they will drop the eggs, freeze the eggs and kill them off, unless you plan on keeping them building up and building up and building up, or whether you're selling them on or anything, that's different. But just bear in mind, please freeze the eggs. Do not release them into the wild either, because you will get fined for that, especially if you're in the UK. I can't speak for other countries, but within the UK, you are not allowed by law to throw the eggs out and for them to hatch. It's the same as just releasing them as adults. You can't do that. So they are perfect for beginners. I would stray away from things like the jungle nymphs and Urocantha calcarata and things like that just at the start, because they do have a good kick to them with their legs, and they can draw blood and it can hurt. So unless you're prepared for something like that, then just be careful. I mean, I've never been too badly hurt by them. I mean, I say too badly hurt, they're not going to put you in the hospital or anything like that, guys. Nothing like that. It would be like a scratch or like a little sting sort of feeling. But just bear it in mind if you're a younger keeper or you want to get something for a younger keeper, to do your research on each species, because some of them do have defensive behaviours. There are also certain ones that can spray you with glands as well, and some are that potent it can cause potential blindness, or at least temporary blindness as far as I'm aware. So really look up your species before you get them, but there are an awful lot out there absolutely perfect for beginners. Question number 9, the one I've been looking forward to. So this is going to be where I challenge a YouTuber about one of their exotic pets. Now, I know I said in the explanation that I'd rather go 1 to 1 to 1, but I would allow it to go 2 ways if there's a couple of you in the channel and you both want to pick someone. Now, I thought long and hard about this, and I decided I'm going to start this off going 2 ways. And the reason being, because sometimes if it goes one way, we might hit a dead end if somebody's maybe busy for the next few weeks or few months, and they can't find the time to do their YouTube, or personal problems may arise. That's leaving the other link to then just keep going down the chain. So I think that it will give a lot more small channels that opportunity to be seen, and that's what I really want to achieve here, is the little guys getting noticed. So I'm going to be tagging, or challenging should I say, 2 different people to answer these Q&As, and I'm picking their exotic pet. So the first one I am challenging is you, John, from the Nerd Room. The reason I'm choosing John is because I have followed him for ages, way before I even bothered making a YouTube account. I spent a long time just watching people, never made an account to click the sub button. I just keep searching for him because I was lazy. So I have been watching him for a long time before I even clicked the sub button. And John, I am challenging you about your mantids. Now I know this is your thing, and I could have chose something a bit more challenging for you. But the reason I want John to answer his question about his mantids, or these set of questions, sorry, about his mantids, is because I plan on getting a bunch more within the next several weeks, and I'd like to see his answers on them. Plain and simple, that is the reason why I've chose him to answer these about his mantids. Now the second person I am choosing is going to be Jay from Boxing Boa, and I have chosen Jay for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't know about his channel before the tarantula tag community came together, and I've really grown to respect this man, not just for his keep of snakes and invertebrates, purely because he's such a lovely guy. He sends love to all these other channels. He's really, really respectful man, and I respect him as a person. Now, I'm going to make it a little bit more of a challenge for Jay if I can. I'm not going to do it on your snakes, Jay. I am going to be challenging you to do it on your scorpions. And the reason being, because you've got a lot of snake videos, you've got quite a chunk of tarantula videos, and you have got some on scorpions as well. But I want you to answer these Q&A about your scorpions. So that's going to be it for question number 9. So we leave to the very final number 10, which is ask a YouTuber a question. Now, I have tagged you 2 YouTubers here, so I am going to be asking 2 separate questions on this. So my question to John from Nerd Room is, John, I'm probably going to see you at the BTS. I hopefully will see you at the BTS. Once you've realised that I'm not a deranged psychopath, or should I rephrase that? I'm not a dangerous deranged psychopath, as it were, and you've got to know me that little bit better. Would you ever consider allowing me in the future to come and see the Nerd Room itself? Now, I know to you this may just be your shed that you do your filming and keep your animals in, but to me, for someone that's watched you for so long, to even step foot in there, whether it's a mess or not, would mean a lot to me. And I'm just curious to know if you would ever allow that in the future, maybe do a collaboration there. So that's my question to John from Nerd Room. My question to Jay from Boxing Boa is, now I can see you've got a great passion for your snakes, Jay. So my question for you is, say you were offered a snake by somebody, maybe they couldn't look after it anymore, they wanted you to take over from that snake. What is the largest in length that you can think of species of snake that you would accept if either you could afford it or it was given to you for free or whatever? What is the largest or longest that you would accept within your household to look after out of all the ones that are out there? I don't know snake species, so I cannot pick a particular one and say, well, you look after it. So what is the longest that you would look after in your home if somebody were to offer it to you or you wanted to buy one? So that's going to be it from the Exotic Pet Challenge Q&A. So I look forward to hearing both Nerd Room and Boxing Boa's replies, and you guys can then go and tag somebody else each to go and do their replies. So let's see what direction this is going to go, guys. I know that Jay knows a lot more channels outside of the tarantula YouTube community. Doesn't mean you have to pick one of those, Jay, but I know that they could span off that way, which is another reason why I've chosen you as well. And also we've got John, and I'd like to see which way his direction's going to go to. So I'm sorry it's a bit of a long haul, guys, but I wanted to get this out there. So thank you very, very much. Take care, and bye-bye.